also agree that it's beautiful. Otherwise, you're a bigot. Now, all I can do is just say I don't want to be associated with this woke shit.
Right, right.
Hell, you've already pushed me. You've already pushed me to the bigot, the so-called bigoted right-wing conservative side. I'll be that side. Hell,
Mhm.
they leave for the. They actually leave you. They
Good
actually
night,
leave you alone when they don't
Ermenega.
agree with you. Hell,
Good
some of
night.
them, for the most part, leave you alone. But
Thank you for the
people
follow.
like him don't. People like him don't, and it's weird. Like, but I think truth is his followers, the
Thank you, Jen.
the
Appreciate
most
you.
loyal. He's gonna always have some very loyal day one followers. But I think even if there wasn't like this whole, even if there wasn't this little digital footprint that came out,
Right.
he would still be. People would get tired of would get tired of him regardless. You know, this is entertainment
True.
at the end of the day. The entertainment people who are easily entertained are also fickle. His subscribers are fickle.
Facts.
So
Yep.
they will
Mhm.
find a reason to get tired of his shit anyway. Same thing with Aunt Karen, same thing with I Speak, all of them.
Mhm.
Like they're
And
like
it's
this,
getting
and you
there.
know, it's
Have
I
you
mean
noticed,
it's
like,
there
slowly but
now.
surely, it's definitely got there. Like with a lot of them, like people, like yeah, I used to like them, but da da da. Like you're irritating a lot of people with your
Yeah,
antics and
people got
performativeness.
bills
It's
to pay.
ridiculous.
You know, things are
Yeah,
even more expensive now. They
facts,
ain't got time to be
facts.
sending him money just because
Just
whatever.
because, no,
They don't
just
got time to be
because.
sending him money.
Period. Just because.
They,
Period. Like don't nobody got what to send just
and
because. I know I
nobody's and
don't.
we're not in a and we're not quarantined and
Mhm.
isolated anymore. We can go out and touch grass and connect with somebody. Try to find some type of connection with somebody. And oftentimes, what I've noticed,
It is okay. Go ahead.
from what I've noticed, most of the crazy, weird, dumb, ignorant shit that that unfortunately falls into that woke category. Nobody's
Yes.
really talking and thinking like that in the real world. I can have a conversation with somebody and agree to disagree, and then we can counter narratives and still be on good terms. Like
Hmm.
these these people only exist in they only exist online. They only
Yeah,
exist online, and it's like, okay,
they do.
I see videos of protests for all of the all of the buzzwords and trends, and you see people
What?
pushing and getting in people's faces, and it's like, see, I'm glad I'm not there because I would take an assault charge. But how often is that happening every day without fail? How often is somebody like Genty doing the exact same shit he does online in the real world to strangers?
Oh, he's done that quite often because he's a professional panhandler there. He just put it online, so it made him a cyber panhandler. He's real good with doing that, the finagling and finessing. What happened now, Sophie?
No, on camera earlier she got doxxed again. It's probably trying to scam more money and grift again. So,
Oh
like
God.
she didn't make, yeah, like she didn't
But
make all that money last time.
hold on.
Didn't
So
she
See, this
try
is
that
just,
the
lawsuit a few
distraction
months ago with
again.
the hospital?
See, they keep trying to distract again from the movement. Bitch, no nobody give a fuck about that. See, that's what I'm saying. That's how I know all y'all have some weird stuff going on with kids going on. Because why is all this coming out when I'm trying to do what I need to do? And mind y'all got
but
more of a, y'all been on here longer than me. Y'all should be trying to get this
here's the
weirdo up
thing.
off of here. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Karen can't really act. Well, she will if she does. She can't really scam from her followers anymore because the last time she did that, she was supposed to move and upgrade her apartment and buy a pew pew. So if you did all of
Right.
that last time, you don't need no money from your followers. You took self-defense classes and you
Facts.
got your pew pew now, right?
Man, that lady couldn't find a
Right.
way
So
out of
you
a paper
good.
bag.
So you
I
good.
know, I know, 13-year-old Taekwondo black belts that can whoop her ass. Girls, eighth graders.
So that's all
She
I'm
be trying to
saying.
talk
It's
like
like,
she tough. I'm like, cut it out,
but it's
girl.
the
Go ahead.
right. Like she tried to threaten me on here one time, talking about you better not talk to my sister like that because her sister was scamming for money for college. And I was like, girl, your job will pay for that class. Why you on here begging people for $500 to pay for a class? You a
She
whole
is a
nurse,
reason.
they'll
Right.
pay for it.
See, there's a
Like
reason that
crazy.
they avoid me. Cause I will say it in the most brutal. I'll curse them the fuck out. I'll say
I told her
you,
to
your
do her
mom, like all
best.
that type of shit. Wasn't
I told her
That
to
makes
do
wasn't
my
that.
Karen
point be
wasn't
there.
Karen a but
Go
wasn't
ahead.
she a nurse also? Because I know because I
No,
heard
no,
her
Karen's
say
no.
a,
she had
no,
gotten
I don't
fired and
know
all.
about
she's a
that. I just
she's a
know her
CNA.
sister.
She's a
Oh, okay.
CNA.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a nurse. Her sister's a nurse. Karen's a CNA. She
Or
Okay.
couldn't do
was
what her sister do.
Okay.
or was because
And
I
she
don't.
broke the rules when she recorded people in that nursing home.
Mm,
Listen, just like she did that weird ass shit, like when I was like, "Girl, I mean, you must be running out of content." Before she came up with, I guess, from what sis was telling me when she sold the idea of the petticoat thing, where she was in I guess the clinic or whatever like that, and then she trying to act
Hmm.
like she's standing up for somebody, some pregnant woman. I don't know, whatever the scenario
yeah,
was, and
I
she
call
was
that shit
recording
out.
in the damn lobby. Yeah, I'm like, girl, get the first of all, I would have been pissed off myself if I was in the lobby because sometimes I don't feel like getting all dressed up, and things like that. Like, bitch, don't be sitting up here recording with that weird ass shit because you on a content search and search or whatever you trying to do since you can't find nothing. So you're just gonna create some. Don't record me up in that
Right.
motherfucker, bitch. Like
Well,
she just
she
weird shit.
you know what? She's trying to say that she
Mm.
was like detained illegally. Now
Yeah. Oh
I've
God.
worked armed security. I've worked armed
Uh huh.
security in hospitals before, so I
Okay.
know from a security perspective. I've done law enforcement. I've even worked security in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
When you're armed as a security, you can detain somebody, but if they run away from the premises, you can't really chase after them. So if she had left the premises when they fucking told her, if
Yeah.
she and all of the other shit, yeah. Now, with the detainment, you can isolate that person from the lobby, which is what they were doing. And she was swearing up and down that they were illegally imprisoning her and all the other shit.
Mhm.
So
Why don't you sue him then?
I don't.
Why
It's
don't you
not gonna
sue
work.
then?
It's not gonna
That's
work.
I know. That's my point because it wasn't illegal. That's my whole point.
She put out the security guards' names and all the other shit. And the thing is, from that background,
Ridiculous.
you are not a part of the hospital more often than not. You are actually a subcontractor. You're working for a security company that's been contracted by the hospital.
Mhm.
So, and these be the same people that swear they know the laws and all the other shit. Like,
They don't
and
be
then they
knowing.
swear that TikTok protects everybody else, but not them. But it's like, wait, your videos, your views, you're verified, all the other shit. You're still up.
Right.
They're Google. I'm telling you. I told you their lawyers Google. That's how they get all the information. They
Yeah.
Google.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Google.
it's gotten to
Exactly.
the point where you go out of your way to look for conflict
Good night, Ryan.
by means of supposedly
No
calling out
problem, Ryan.
racism.
You welcome back
I wouldn't be
anytime.
I wouldn't be mad. I don't blame a 14-year-old white kid that you're picking on for calling you a nappy head ass monkey just to be spiteful. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
mad. This is me though.
Right.
Well, so here's the thing, right? I've been talking about this a
Okay.
lot. It's like
Hold on.
I,
Follow me on my main page. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
I've been saying this for a while. I said it earlier to in Scholars Live. I said, I mean, you can be mad at people for doing what they do on this app, right? But when say you post an innocent video and I leave a nasty comment on it, and then you choose to react the way you react, how can I get mad and go do all this stuff when I could have just skipped past your video and not said nothing? So we're all responsible for the reaction we get when we comment or do anything on this app. People, you put
Yeah,
it on a public platform and people are going to react. So you can't get mad at how people react. That's
I've been
simple as that.
doxxed
So
and
I'm
I've been
not
doxxed.
excusing
Yeah,
racism. I'm not excusing any of that. It's just a fact. It's a fact. Like you can't control how people react to you.
you can. You're right. It's absolutely right. I've been doxxed. I've been mass reported
Hold on. Hold on,
at
hold on,
people.
hold on. Ryan, if anybody, I'm gonna be back and forth from this page, my cousin page, and that, because like I said, they've been doing mass reporting on me. But I'm not gonna go on my main page. I'm gonna go on my backup because I need that page. But the page I'll be going off of is goddess_reigns. Let me see how to pin it. Let's see there. Why don't I know how to pin my own shit? Lord child, I don't know. Can one of my mods pin it? Can y'all pin it? I can't pin my
I
own
don't even know
shit.
how to do that.
I know it came up for me before. Go ahead, y'all keep talking though. I got it.
I mean, I've been doxxed,
Okay.
mass reported, and all the other shit, and people, or they tried to dox me. It's just not accurate public information. And that's another thing.
I
Your
hate that
public
too.
records, your
I
public
hate
records,
that.
just your public records don't necessarily have to be accurate. Like, let's say I
Exactly.
was, I was actually, I was actually popular on a social media platform, and I was like funny, like. One guy I know I follow on YouTube and his Instagram. He's funny as hell. He does like sport commentaries and makes crazy jokes about it. Somebody said that his net worth is $1 million, or his net worth is in like the 6 figure range, and he's like, "Nah, I'm still driving this bummy ass car. Ain't no fucking way." He had to debunk that. Another guy, he's verified on TikTok after constantly
Right.
getting banned. He's now 1 million followers on YouTube. He said that when he got his blue check from TikTok, he wasn't making shit. He's not making shit from TikTok. So in terms of that verification check, so exactly what is it? What is it? If somebody can come forward and say they ain't making anything from it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling
true.
you, some people are making money though, so don't be fooled by that. There's a lot of creators that are making money on this app, and they're making good money. So that's all I'm saying. It's like, just like people keep saying people aren't making money on Facebook, they are still making good money on Facebook and Instagram. You just got to
Yeah, I
know how to
see
work the
that.
system.
Like, right. I was just want to say I see that actually. High key, there's some people that slip through some type of way where they're still making some money on that Facebook and IG. I see. Because I know some big content creators that that's been on there. Like, they must be doing something because ain't no way they still be on
Yeah.
Facebook. Because I heard they took it away. If they wouldn't get no money some type of way. So I'm sure they figured something out.
Okay, but
hmm
you're making good money, but you're still a 9 to 5er. I speak is still an active duty 9 to 5er.
Well,
So
I'm not talking about those ones.
No,
They're
no,
not,
no, no, not
they're not
them.
making money.
Yeah, not them. They
I'm not
ain't
talking
making
about
shit.
them. They're not making money, but
Hmm.
I know content creators that
I mean,
don't
I can
have as
believe
many
some of
followers
definitely
as I speak
like
that are making money
Cobby
on
Lame, or how do you
Facebook,
say the brother's name?
Instagram.
Yeah, how do you say the African dude's name? Cobby Lamb. He's one of them. I can see that. I understand that.
Well, I'm not like even Cabby. I'm not talking about him either. I'm talking about content creators like on that smaller I speak amount of followers that they have real followers. They're making real money. You got to
Right,
understand a lot of these creators that we intertwine with, they bought those followers. Like, don't be
right.
fooled. Like a lot of
That's
these people
terrible.
bought them followers.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes
So I
sense.
mean,
Like, I thought you guys were being facetious about that. Like, that is so lame. Like, that's what I said. I feel like I just stepped into like what's that? We like player one or something. Like I'm an avatar and
I mean,
a
I mean,
another, because I was like,
I
y'all really buy followers? Like, you motherfuckers are lame. That's why I was like, stop talking to me, please, because
I'm thinking about doing it just to get my just to go live on my own and just to talk and interact with people on some,
you could
just
just go to a grow page. Why would you even do that? Just go to a grow page and get to 1K.
because once you get to 1K, it just unlocks
Yeah.
the live, even if you lose those
Right,
followers.
unlocks it. And you know what you could do? I found that actually after you do that, you can unfollow those people after you do that on the live. Like, you know what I'm
After you
saying? For
get the
certain people they
1K.
don't like, after you get the 1K, yeah, you can take them people off.
interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So,
the
Yep.
trick I found out.
Because all
but
it
yeah,
does is it trigger that thing to unlock
Right,
your live
triggers it.
feature. That's it.
Exactly. It's just triggering it to get to the 1K. But I don't know, depending that actually you're in a different country or whatever, you might not need the 1K because some people can go without the 1K.
I mean,
See,
I'm
this is
on
in
live, but
America.
yeah, it's weird. I'm live.
Yeah.
I'm on the live because I'm on a different server. So, uh, yeah, and again, I've asked what's his name, how you got over 700,000 followers and you need $7,000. You mean to tell me 7,000 people couldn't send you $1?
No.
One motherfucking dollar
No.
each and
And
every
a lot of
time.
them,
Yeah.
that's why I asked too. I don't know, a lot of them. And then I feel like, I don't know if you got that many, I don't know what they doing because I'm like,
Well, think
if I
about
had
it.
that
If
many
he
followers,
has
what you
seven,
making
yeah.
money? Yeah, go ahead.
No, you just made a valid point, right? Think about it. He has 700,000 followers, right?
Right.
And he had a GoFundMe, and he only made what, like $7,000. If they had sent him if all of them had sent him $1, he could have bought a house and moved already.
Right.
Exactly.
$1. I mean, it's just like the shit with the commercials we used to watch when we were kids, like how to send a penny. All the pennies in your couch could feed an entire village. Basically, is what they were telling us. Oh, you found a
Hmm.
quarter. You found a half a dollar. Even better. So
Yep.
Facts.
I think history
That's
is
it.
repeating itself. The same vacuous and vapid shit that we saw on TV and that we regurgitated and that some of us were conscious enough to call out. We're now doing this
Mm-hmm.
online. You would think during the information age we would easy it would be easier to see through this shit, but
That's why I tell
Right.
people none of this stuff
That's
is
why.
new. None of this is new. It's been done
No,
before.
it was literally right there at the fingertips. Like, I'm not gonna even mention her name, but like I said, it was some weird ass bitch. I had to get up out her lie because she tried to come at me like, oh, she actually accused me of supposedly getting because I was like, well, she's like, oh, well, you're late to this. I'm like, what am I late to? Because first she had like, thank me. Like, I just want to know your source. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing all that. And she was like, well, I just want to thank you. And I was like, anytime I just put a smiley face because the person that told me about the bitch live. So I went over there and then she, because she was, listening to the tapes and shit. And then she was like, oh no, honey, like, you know, uh, some smart ass shit she said. Anyway, she, basically she tried to say she was like, well, you're late to it. And I'm like, well, I'm late to what? And she was like, oh, we've been new about like what? I was like, well, if you knew all that, then why did none of y'all get the audio or anything else out? I was like, oh, with big capital OH. And then she didn't say nothing today. Oh no, she like, oh, because you got the tapes from Patrick. I say,
What?
girl, I was like,
I know
bitch.
who you talk. I know who you're talking
You know what I'm
about.
talking about,
So
but I'm not giving them. Yeah, I'm not giving no names. I'm not, bitch. I'm not giving no platform on my shit. Anyway, yeah, this bitch. Then she gonna say, talking about some. Um, she's like, yeah, you probably get it. I was like, girl, I didn't get shit from Patrick, and I was like, yeah, I see that you're mentally delayed, so I'm gonna get up out of here before
oh
yeah,
my
I
god.
gotta,
you
cause
know
you're weird
how
as hell.
you know what throws me off about these people. Just like he has to stay
Mhm.
inside, they would have to stay inside. He's talked all this shit. They've talked all this shit about paying somebody to whoop someone's ass or to unalive somebody. It's like you don't have. I said this previously. The people that you think you're affiliated, that you want to paint this narrative that you're affiliated with, aren't professional hitters, aren't heavy hitters in the
Yeah.
society. They aren't trained assassins, for lack of better description. They're mentally delayed, as you described. I've seen one of them thinks he's a martial artist and knows nothing about it. And this would be the person that you would send after somebody, or that would go on their own accord after somebody and get fucked up in the real world. I'm sorry, like the people who really support them on like some cult BS aren't the brightest, most productive members of society. And if they really were to try it with the right person at the right time, it would be Darwinism taking its place. Darwinism proving its point.
I mean, we've been saying
Yeah.
this for like 2 years now. You know, me and you used to be mutuals from back in the day, like maybe a year ago now, Mutant. And
Yeah,
I mean, it's like I didn't even used to respond to these people, man. I just didn't because it wasn't even
Hmm.
worth it. But now I just got fed up. I just got tired of it because he's like, you're not gonna bully me. You can take my pages all you want to, but I was tired.
yeah. I feel
Tired.
the
It
same
was
way.
time
Like
so.
you're not gonna bully me. You can't bully me. In fact, it's like 90% of the time they can't whoop nobody's ass, and then they can't even find somebody that could actually whoop their ass.
Exactly.
They
But
damn
that,
sure
but,
aren't
but
gonna
see,
find
that's what I'm
somebody that
saying.
they
Yeah, but
and
see, that's what I'm saying. Why are you looking up addresses that you know you're not finna pull up on? That's why I was like, what is your purpose in doing that? That's why I was like, you people are weird on here.
And
What do
look,
you
and then
expect?
when
You're
you
not
call them out
coming.
on
Hmm.
when you call them out on that, then they say, "Oh well, you dox me. Why aren't you pulling up?" I didn't even look. I've never looked
Get
up
the
any of
fuck
y'all
out of here.
addresses. Like the
Get the
because
fuck
guess
out
what?
of
I'm
here.
not doing. I have no need to look up your address. I'm coming to your like. If I come to
Hmm.
your state, I'm not thinking about you. Like
I
you're the
mean,
last thing on my mind.
my thing is
Hmm.
they come online, the whole social activism thing. My thing is, if
Right.
you want change, if you want some type of change, and this is one of the biggest side eyes I've always had with people's and the whole woke. activism thing that TikTok has become. If you want change, you got to be willing to put an end to somebody for it. At the end of the day,
You do.
sometimes
You do.
diplomacy is not going to work, and the same people that
Yep.
want change are the same people that want, pew pew control. And I'm like, wait a minute, that don't make
Right.
sense. It's just, and yet again, this doesn't. I'm
No,
not.
well, no, I think that does make sense. I mean, it's just the thing. It's like that's guns don't kill people. People kill people, right?
And the
So
people
I
will
mean,
find
I
a
get
better
it,
way.
but there still needs to be gun control. Like, come on now, the kids shooting up school. Like, I'm not going to agree with that. Like, I think gun control can be better than what Texas
Be
and
careful with
Georgia
your
and Florida
words,
is doing.
Sophie.
I mean, we
Pew
see
pew. Yeah,
it
what
in
they're doing
neighborhoods.
is ridiculous.
I
Personally,
know,
I
it's
think it happens
annoying.
more often, and it happens more so in neighborhoods than it does schools. And I think, to me, media just paints a narrative that it's happening day in and day out in the school.
No,
And you
we
know
hear
what?
about it happening. But here's the thing: we hear about it happening in the neighborhoods because most of those pews are illegally bought. The ones in the
Right.
schools aren't. That's the difference. So yes, people can go get them illegally, but doesn't mean that we don't need gun control because guess what? That can avoid innocent children getting pewed. Like that's just the point. Like everybody keeps missing that point. Like it's that simple. Like it's not nobody's trying to take your guns, your pews from you. Like it's nobody is, but it's like there needs to be control. Like really, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. It does. How many schools got to get shoot up, pewed again before we realize it?
Or
Yeah.
or to balance this out, if my way of balancing this thing out,
Mm.
put an armed guard in the school. I'm talking like an M4 or something like
That's not
that.
going to work either.
I mean, but the thing
That's not
is,
going to work either.
okay, so
It's like harming the teacher. They said they had the same thing about giving teachers pew. It's like, really? Like, so that's just ridiculous.
I can't really agree with you too much on it, Sophie. Here's why. You mentioned that the guns are bought illegally in neighborhoods where these shootings occur. So if somebody does not care about obtaining one through legal means, they don't respect the law. Of course, the person who has a gun legally or illegally to go pew at school is going to respect the fact that the sign on the school says no guns allowed. So
Thanks.
so gun control. What good is gun control?
Making it more difficult for people to get them. That's the point.
Actually, no. The more difficult it is legally, the more it is for somebody to sell it under the table.
I don't think so. I mean,
look at the. Okay, brother. All right, man. But my thing is the same again. They want a revolution, or they make it seem as though they're fighting the good fight, and they're gonna win the good fight and overthrow the system. It's like
right.
The way we put an end to it and get gun control is more black people need to get pews. I guarantee you that's when they start making some laws. I got
some. Trust me. And that's funny. And I agree with you.
That same thing, and that actually are out there doing that. I know a lot of former military operatives, cops.
But I'm just telling you but it ain't it's not a lot of our people that got pews. Trust and believe that.
No, that's true.
They want to say that. Think about it. Please. They see us go buy a bunch of pews. I guarantee you they change the law so fast.
Oh, real quick. They be like, let me see. Let me sit down.
Exactly.
And yeah,
nope,
and not to mention that, hold on, and don't let it be if y'all really start standing up and start, and there's no shit against you, Jim, but I speak how I'm gonna speak, whatever, you know what I mean. If you start pewing up them YT people like they've been going crazy on y'all, they really start going. I'm just gonna keep it 1,000 with you. If you start doing that, knock them down how they been doing us. They really gonna be like, oh hell no, we gonna have to get them Negroes up out of here because yeah,
like in Florida,
we start clapping back. Stuff. Yes, and you know what happened to the young lady that was 38 with the 4 kids, and that weirdo that was 58 sitting up there inciting, calling her racial slurs and doing all that, and then when the lady tried to leave to get away from your crazy ass because you were doing all that stuff, one of her sons forgot the iPad, you proceeded to steal it I'm talking about the old YT lady. You steal it or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
your paper pirate ass. And then, so he tried to go back to get it from you, like, hey, can I get the iPad? You throw the iPad at the baby head, and it fell. And when it hit his head, hurt his head and fell on the ground and broke the iPad. So of course the mama's gonna confront you. So you did things to incite a problem,
Mm-hmm.
a fight. So then she goes to you, then your ass know it's the mama coming there, right? But then you gonna then y'all play this scary role act, and then you gonna shoot her through the door. Get your goofy ass out of
Mm-hmm.
here. You know what you was
Okay,
on.
so being from
Set the
Florida
whole
and
thing up.
okay, y'all
Mhm.
are not gonna like me for this one. Being from Florida and actually advocating for the stand your ground law, that was she fucked it up. Just like the dude that fucked
Yeah,
up the stand your ground law over the
right.
parking space a couple of years ago. You do painstakingly have some stupid ass white people that got their asses kicked back in grade school that are just
Mhm.
looking to be on some fucking Punisher, Frank Castle type shit,
Right.
and all of that. But that is not
Right.
happening on a everyday basis and all that other shit.
Right. Mhm.
And I do know some black owned gun clubs, black owned tactical companies, guys that teach people that like that black people that issue like concealed carry license.
Mhm.
In fact,
Mhm.
they're in I know some people in your area, so be if you're interested.
No, I know. I mean, I'm just saying you got to understand what I'm saying to you. I know those things exist. I'm saying, but it doesn't exist in the numbers. Look at the NRA. Look at the people
Mhm.
that runs that. How
Yeah.
many of them are brown?
I only honestly, the only one I can think of is Colin Noir, and he's like one of the biggest black conservative Second
That's what I'm
Amendment
saying.
advocates.
So you got to
But then
understand that.
again, you don't. But then again, the media on both
Mhm.
sides, does not
But that's
portray
my thing. You
doesn't
see,
portray Black
I've
Americans
always
as
argued that I've always argued that both sides are bad. You strictly argue one side. That's the problem I have with a lot of people when they argue about this stuff or debate. It's like y'all are one sided, like that other side is greater than. No, they're both fucking evil. The point is, we have to protect ourselves. That's my point. I'm never going to defend either side. They're both just as bad as the other.
what I'm saying is
I've been said that.
you're
Conservative,
saying that there are not enough
liberals,
black people. I'm saying that I don't think,
they're-
in my opinion, I don't think black people have like you're saying that they need the incentive. They don't. I don't think they have the incentive. Just like what, when it comes to things such as community policing and law enforcement, we lose the incentive to actually police our own communities and all the other shit. I mean, think about the whole George Zimmerman bullshit. He
okay, so you see,
initially,
where does that all stem from, though? I'm gonna break it down for you, though. Where does it all stem from, though? Look at how
you asking me, what is our stem
it all
from?
ste-
He
it all
actually,
stems it all stems from. Listen, no, I'm gonna tell you about police in neighborhoods, redlining, all that. It all goes back to what they've done to us, and that's my point. Like you got to realize that, like all this stuff you're debating stems back to everything they've done to keep us in lower sectors and lower everything. It's all them. That's why I said neither side is good. We have to come together and get out of this. And that's the only thing we can do to change it. It's like, forget defending the
Mhm.
white man rules. I'm sorry. It's got to
I'm not
be all
defending the
us
white man.
black
I'm just trying
people.
to tell us to defend ourselves and be our
But
own
that's
and
my
little
thing, though.
kingdom.
Just you can't use the white man rules to defend as a mechanism because that doesn't work. That's my point. Saying that some black people have this, well, guess what? We all need to come together and create our own.
I mean, I'm saying that those same black people that have that will be happy to help you obtain that also. And again, you're saying that though you're talking about community
I
policing.
didn't mean to do that.
Back in the 60s and 70s, there was community policing
I
in the
did
black
not mean to
neighborhoods.
do that.
Everybody, it was a village back then. If you were fucking up, the neighbor would whoop your ass
Hold on.
just like your
Hold on.
parents
Hold
would.
on. Hold on. I didn't mean to mute you. I didn't mean to mute you, Boo. Hold on. That was an accident. That was my fault. I was trying to comment back to you
It's
or
okay.
whatever. So
Oh,
staying alive. I'm gonna unmute you. Who was that? Oh shit. Fuck. Can you unmute? You know how to do it. I'm about.
yeah. I mean, who?
She got something. Boop something in her name. Boop something. Do you see it?
No. Oh, I see.
Oh
No,
shit. You see something like Boop Savage or some shit like that? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, there it is. Boop upside your head.
Yeah, boop upside your head. Yeah, I don't know who the hell that. Yeah, I don't know who that was. Yeah, there she go.
Okay.
My bad, boo. If Faye Summers, I don't know who Faye Summers was. She got
Oh
muted. I
yeah,
don't
but
know.
she was
My
on the
bad,
other line.
baby.
So.
Okay, okay. My
She
bad,
was
boo.
in the
What you
other
say?
line.
You good? Hold on, boo. Well, if you do have your baby, let us know or whatever.
Oh,
Okay.
congratulations.
Good luck with that and everything. We be praying for you and everything.
But I mean, you got to understand, it's like
Okay,
the
go ahead.
policing your own neighborhood thing. That crap. I mean, I've always said that, like, with the people in the neighborhoods that don't want to tell on so and so who did this to so and so. I've always said that's BS because you're keeping the crime in your communities, like because you told some code of not snitching. Like, what you mean? You gonna wait? What they gonna kill
I
your son
mean,
for you to
and that's the
speak up?
and this is okay. This is not taking any sides, but it doesn't take someone being one sided to see that that is ass backwards. And going back to what I was saying about incentive, when you have an ass backwards when you have an ass backwards no snitching code, that clearly just makes the whole community policing thing from policing our own communities. It clearly just makes it counterproductive as hell. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at. So I think
No, but I
we
agree.
have to
I
we
understand that,
can't
and I've spoken on that. I think it's asinine. I mean, and they promote it in movies. Like that's why I don't like Tyler Perry. I don't like all like the way they picture like our own
Facts.
people. It be our own people. It be our own
Do
people.
I
it
mean,
do?
and
It
then
be
everything with a positive message is, even when they try to make a positive message, somebody has to taint it. Like,
Yep.
Yep. It's
Facts.
always that's what I told.
Facts.
Like I said it before. We are our own worst enemy. Our people,
Mhm.
I
and
don't.
that's a
I
fact.
mean,
Until we get I mean, it's the truth. I'm dead serious. Like, I mean, that's not being it's the truth. I'm calling a spade a spade.
have you had has anyone ever burned a cross in front of your house? And you haven't had 30 something
No,
years of existence.
no,
Have you gone to a southern town and they told you to get out by sunfall?
nope.
Hmm.
The fact that those towns still exist, that's the problem too. Why is that? Why do these towns still exist?
Same reason some neighborhoods exist where you can't, go there with nice cars and jewelry
Ho-
and not know
Hold on,
anybody.
hold that thought. Hold that thought 1 second. Boop upside your head. Yeah, I know. Usually I don't like, I don't be on TikTok a lot like that. I really don't like to talk about things like this myself or whatever. I want to talk about more upbeat things, but unfortunately, until I get spread more awareness and get him off, this is kind of gonna be the topic. I'm gonna try to switch it up a little bit from time to time,
Right.
but
You caught up
yeah,
in
he got to
drama
go.
talk now.
I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
all in drama side. Listen, I was on the gay side and then my indigenous side, and I done got on messy talk with y'all ass. I don't know how the hell I got back over here, but I was trying to
I mean,
stay where
we're,
the fuck I was to stay with
at
the
least
gay
we're having
folks.
I'd say me and Sophie are having a productive conversation. And if I'm
You
being
actually
honest,
are. I'm proud of y'all.
we don't,
I'm just listen. I'm innocent.
we're disagreeing, but we're respectful. Like,
You
partially,
are. It's no
part of
yelling or
it, I think part
anything.
of it comes from both of us finishing school, or having degrees and actually being in the
Okay.
military and seeing different experiences.
Well,
Now,
because this is why I've always told people this is why dialogue and debates on this app doesn't work.
Okay.
Because
Cool. Original.
both sides, they host these one-sided lives and they pile their followers in there who think like them. And it's an echo chamber, and then they gang
Right.
up on anybody who comes up there with a different opinion. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
problem why we'll never unite or come together as people. Forget race or
Right.
anything, because no one wants to listen to each other to even understand.
Right. I agree.
it's like Highlander. There can be only one,
Hmm.
or at least.
Right. No, it's true though. Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah, I mean,
crazy. It's insane to me.
I don't get that vibe from Sovies, which is why it's easier
I've
to
seen
talk to him.
debates where people were saying the same thing, but in a different way. but they
Thank you,
weren't
Jay.
listening to each other, so they were arguing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Right.
are
I'm
you
like,
kidding me?
why are
And
you?
then
That's why you can't get
people
the word out. Why y'all yelling? You can't. Like, it's not a debate.
people
Like,
I mean,
like
people
they're
come
trying to
on
have
here
a
to be
pissing
offended.
contest about this. Well,
People
yeah, they're
come
trying
on
to
here
have
to
a
be
pissing
offended and
contest.
argue. People come on here
Yes,
to
they
be
do.
offended and argue or to be
Yes.
annoyed about something. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not gonna I will find the bullies and step to them, the big bullies and step to them about that
hmm
shit and their subscribers. But for the most part, not everybody needs that type of energy. And in regards to trying
Facts.
to get in regards to trying to get them off of this app, respectfully, it's a fool's errand. It's a fool's
Hmm.
errand. And again, I mean, we've had how many
You
people,
actually say
how many of his mutuals have been banned and quickly won their account back within a week's time. If he gets perma-banned and wins his account back, and I think it's already happened to him before.
it
Yep.
did. I heard he got a permanent ban. But see, again, this. Listen, I'm like I said, I haven't even been on here as long as y'all. And why did it take for me? I'm a newcomer in that already started some type of buzz for the shit to come out, um, for to debunk any of his BS. So I mean, it's definitely possible. Like, believe in it. I promise you. I'm.
Or
I can't. It's got to happen in
I'm
numbers,
just
or I
gonna
can't
tell
do it by
you,
myself. You know, I have to
here's
he's
have
the
not
other
gonna tuck.
assistance.
I'm
Go
gonna tell
ahead.
you, he's not gonna tuck his tail and walk away. He's not gonna
No,
leave
I know
this
he's
app at
not.
all.
I mean,
So
Sobe's right. Here's the
he ain't
thing.
gonna have no. He
This
ain't
is the
gonna have
best
no
thing.
choice. Go ahead.
This is the only thing that he, in his mind, this is the only thing he has going for him. So this is the best thing that ever happened to him. And again, I don't even see I mean, he's been, he's doxxed, he's harassed, he's bullied people, he's threatened people, he's had hands put
Exactly.
on him, and he's still here. And people, and it takes a willfully ignorant person to still support him. And when it comes to his fame diminishing again, people
Mm.
are fickle. They're gonna get tired of this person, and they're gonna look for somebody else to repackage the same type of
What?
entertainment, for lack of a better description.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I
What
look
you
at it
just
like
said is
this.
perfect.
I look at it like this with
What you just said is perfect, right?
the
Because
Sun
here's what's
Tzu.
gonna happen. Because go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's see. Go.
I'm gonna
Go.
say
So,
this. Sun Tzu had a
mhm.
saying in the Art of War: if you wait by the river long enough, you'll see the body of your enemies. This shit is sooner or
So,
later they're gonna fall. The stars are gonna fade. The TikTok stars are gonna fade.
so, so what's gonna happen with Genty, right? He's not gonna walk away from this app, but
Of
he's no
course.
longer gonna be able to. He's no longer going to be able to call anybody out or do any kind of things like that. He can't host panels discussing anything because guess what? He can't. You are not the man to do that ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and that's, so he's just going to be there. He's going to just be there. That's it. He can't even have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to eat him alive.
Facts.
That's going to eat him alive. It's going to be pitiful. It's going to be, I
He,
mean, it's going to
I mean,
be
I
he,
entertaining.
don't, I
it,
can't empathize with them in terms of it being pitiful. And again,
at all. Like,
I can't
at
empathize with them
all.
for one bit.
I
Like,
can't
and
empathize with him, period.
people, I know people that just don't want him to exist anymore. And at this point,
Yeah, like,
I'm like,
at all.
honestly, his life
Yeah.
ending would
But you
be
know
too
how,
much of a mercy.
but you know how easy, but you know
Mm.
how easy it would be for him to just leave the app. And I mean, he think this app is not end all be all. It is for him because this is where he makes his money. Because he
Yeah.
grifts for his
It's not
money.
the money.
True.
It's not the money. It's the
The
dopamine
high,
hit. It's the
it's
fame.
the high,
It
the high.
is.
And
Yeah,
It's
and
the
and,
high,
and there clearly
yes.
isn't. And again, there clearly isn't that same type of love and energy reciprocated in the real world for him. There isn't.
Facts.
There's none of
No.
that shit reciprocated for him. Like these
Mm.
people, this whole
Yes.
again, if it wasn't for the quarantine and George Floyd thing, most of these people, we wouldn't be having these conversations about these individuals.
that's a fact.
It took it took a world event. It took world events and atrocities for them to come on the scene and be supported by simpleton type of mindset that would still be giving a preacher money 30 years at a time without a pot to piss in them damn selves. The preacher has a mansion, a nice car. Grandma still lives in, that old rundown place, even though
Mm-hmm.
the preacher's been living off of her high off the hog. So I don't
Right.
it's just gonna take people being bored with them, and I think people are getting bored. Again, people are struggling to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
People can now go outside and touch grass. People got
A
to
few
worry about AI
areas.
and automation taking their jobs and all that other shit. Like, there's too much going on to there's too much to see, too much going on in the world. And again, they say the numbers don't lie, but they also don't tell the truth. A million followers in one a million a million followers, technically that's supposed to mean a million people.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Yep.
That's
But I
supposed to
see
mean a
doesn't
million
mean that
people.
on here. Right.
You mean to tell me they all can't send his ass $1, or better yet, all the shit that he's been talking? You mean to tell me they haven't sent him enough money to send hitters after his ops, or
But
he
that's what
hasn't
I've
paid
said
for
about all of
security at
these
the door?
people
Right.
with followers like that. All of the people with
Yeah,
followers like that,
exactly.
almost all of them have started GoFundMe's or whatever, and
Facts.
they weren't making their goal. And I'm thinking, if you
Nope.
have that many followers, you should make that within 10 hours, if not 5.
I think.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And then you got you got other mutual call out content creators that support that ish, and it's like, okay, you're just as full of shit as they are. You're just
Yep.
on the same type of fuck shit. You're guilty by association.
Yeah,
There's no other
that's
way
why
to
I
put it.
said. Like your silence is you being
And speaking
complicit in a
volumes.
situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I've literally seen I Speak, Eb, all them sitting up in the live, especially don't let it be like about a trans topic. And he gets to going in there saying all that crazy, weird stuff, with, pretty much, inciting for trans women to grape straight men and all this other stuff. And she's sitting there with her, Twisted Tea or whatever, Mad Dog 2020 hitting in her tumbler and shit, sipping on that shit.
Mad
You
Dog
know,
2020.
But they
These people are ghetto as hell.
yeah, yeah,
Ghetto
you
as
know what I'm
but they
hell.
saying?
all
They don't
think
She's
again.
sipping that shit,
they all
go
for
ahead.
God, mistress, they all think
Yes.
this, right? Because
Hmm.
even Conscious Lee was trying to tell straight men that they're transphobic if they don't want to
That's
date
a
a trans woman.
script.
But how come
Yeah,
nobody?
I'm
But how
like,
come these same
these are
people aren't giving these
scripts.
trans women a chance? I never see a
Right, that's
motherfucker
what I'm
that
saying.
says that says
Exactly.
they give them a chance. Like, that don't make no damn sense. Hell, Genty hasn't given them a chance.
Oh no, he has. You missed that step. He did, and it didn't
yep.
last long. He dated one for like 2.5, a little light skinned one, and then that went
Hmm.
away. And I found it interesting because that's why I said y'all don't be catching shit. I catch shit in 4K, but like again, this was before he insulted me in his live. Like I remember him making a video, of course that obviously he's since taken down like last year, and he was complaining about the transgender community. Talking about he was like you transgenders. He's like what do you say you transgender women or something. No, I don't think he got specific. Actually, he said the trans community gets on his nerves because they always consistently whining and complaining. That's exactly what he said.
I
Like
think I know
y'all
what
always
he.
crying
I
about
may have seen
something.
it. I think
Yeah,
I know what he was saying.
yeah.
He was like, how come
But
they
that's
don't
my
date?
thing is,
He's like, how come they don't date
right?
bi or pan people? Why do they want to date only straight people who
Well,
don't
here's
want to
my thing
experiment?
though.
No.
You
He
gotta
didn't even say that.
understand.
No, he was saying they always whining about issues or whatever like that. But of course, he deleted that. That's why I find it funny. That's what I say he
Well,
does
that's what
things to
I'm
try to
saying.
grift. You know what I'm saying? Now all
Because
of a
I've
sudden you
scared,
portray.
and I've said it. I said, you know what? If you're trans and a straight man is dating you, they are now part of the community. They're not straight.
They
I'm sorry. I don't
are.
care what you say. They're
No, they
queer.
keep
They're
trying to
whatever.
convince you.
You
Yeah, no,
They're
keep
they
trying
kind
to
keep.
of.
convince
It's
people
like,
that no, they're
it's
still straight.
mental gymnastics. That's what it is. It's like, okay, I'm trans, but
Right,
I'm
right,
trans, and not
right.
and you sleeping with me does not make you gay, but you're not straight. It doesn't make you
You're
gay, but
queer.
you're not straight. It's mental gymnastics. I'm a
Yeah.
real woman.
They keep
I'm a
trying to
real
change
woman,
what queer
but I
means.
got a
No,
penis.
right. Listen, this is the
I'm a real
thing,
woman, but
right?
I
Then
got a
they trying
penis.
to
And if
feed
you
you
don't
these
suck it like it's a
delusions,
vagina, you're a transphobe. It's mental
right?
gymnastics.
It
It's like,
Right.
is.
okay, my colon, I identify my colon as a fallopian tube, and if you don't
You
agree with
can.
that,
But listen, you can though. Why can't you, right? Like, cause
okay.
there are guys. Listen, because there are guys. That's why I'm like, why is it a shortage on our tampons and pads? Cause these weird motherfuckers are sticking it up their asshole. Talking about they got a period and phantom cramps. Stop playing in my face with
Oh, you
that
know what?
delusional weird
If that's the
shit.
damn case, if a
Like,
motherfucker can identify as whatever,
so,
if it's how you think and how you feel, if this how you think and how you feel, the next time
like,
I take a math course and I fail miserably, I identify as pass and I can identify as a fucking mathematician.
Right. I mean,
seriously.
that's a true.
That's
That's
like
a
No,
true.
giving.
I
no,
mean,
but you
I'm
do
That's
that.
like
No, you're insane if you do that. But when they do that, it's okay. It's not. That's why, like, oh, now you're being transphobic. Like, no, like, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, one that told me I was in the lab with a YT man, right? So I'm like, so for example, like, okay, let's use trans men for example. So for those that don't know, that's like, biological born. Because I don't do that assigned shit. I'm not gonna do that weird shit y'all be talking about.
Mhm.
So this is a biological born female to male, right? So mind you, she has a semblance of a man, right? So I said, say she has a child, because
Mhm.
a lot of y'all come with this term calling yourselves seahorse dads, right? Because seahorses, the males, have children, right? This is the delusion. Just stay with me though. Stay with me, okay? So say if they
I'm
out
with
and they
you.
gotta breastfeed their child, so I'm seeing a man. Say if I'm with my kid, so say if I'm seeing this person looks like a man. He's got a beard and stuff, and he's got his tit out breastfeeding. So then they
Mhm.
like, my kid's like, hey mom, what, wait, why is the, man breastfeeding, the baby? And then this YT man's like, well, just say, that sometimes men breastfeed. Please get the
So
F
I
out
made
my
it.
No.
face.
So I think Dylan Mulvaney made a video that on my old account that got banned. He said that trans people can breastfeed. I'm like, and do you know? No, he said, do you know trans women can breastfeed? And I'm like, do you know that you can take a cyanide capsule and it can actually be a multivitamin?
Right.
I like that. Now I'm going to take. Now I'm still in that. I'm still in that 'cause it's
But you
By
so
know,
all
funny,
but
means.
that's
but
my
it's true
thing.
though.
That's
Well,
but
right.
that's
I
my
mean,
thing. And
it's
now they
all
want
about
the
perception.
hospital.
Go ahead.
They want the hospital. They want the hospital to not call mothers mothers. They want to be called birthing person.
That's
Like
correct.
what?
Or yeah, birthing parent and all this other stuff. Like, and
And
that's
this is
another
again,
story
this
too.
and again,
Listen. It
this
was
is
another
why
story.
countries, this is why
Hold
other
on.
countries aren't fucking with America. This is why I
Yeah,
think
because it's
this might be the
crazy.
reason. This might be the reason that they go with that whole BRICS thing and all the other shit. And I don't blame
Mm-hmm.
them. And I'm gonna try and put some money
Hold
into
on.
that my damn self because I
It
don't
is
want to
something.
be
Hold on.
part of this insanity.
Hold on. And then it's another thing. So then that reminds me of another story, like you just made me think of. There was one, there was again another trans man, again for you all context. Again, a born female to, quote unquote transition to male. Okay. Mind you, she's pregnant and she had a baby in the maternity ward, right? So they say that
Hmm.
this is the article. So she's, or excuse me, let me say your, do your pronouns for the all intents and purposes. Okay. So,
He.
he quote unquote, right, mind you, this trans man, right, he who is pregnant, right, and just had this baby, right, bet. So now he's upset because of the fact that the nurse was misgendering him, saying, of course, saying she this, she that, or whatever like that. And now he was getting upset because he feels like that the maternity ward name should be changed. It shouldn't be maternity ward. That whole thing should be, like birthing station. And
Right.
that he was upset that the nurse kept calling him she. But mind you, I mean, let's be for real, because you're in a maternity ward and you are a so-called person. Although I don't know what he looked like physically, but just say if he looks stereotypical like a man, like the beard and all that, and you have a vagina, you just had a baby, like,
Okay,
Right.
two
come on.
things. Two
Hmm.
things. Why aren't trans women entering men's sports? Like you don't hear about a
They're
trans man
not.
NBA player. You don't hear about a
Nope,
trans man NBA player trying to guard
they
LeBron.
don't.
You don't
Nope.
hear about a trans. You don't hear a trans man UFC fighter trying to fight Adesanya or some shit
No.
like that.
Nope.
You
Because
don't
they
hear no
know better.
trans
They
men.
be demolished. It's always, but see,
I remember
there's
I was a
deep rooted misogyny and the patriarchy when it comes to these transgender male to
Yep.
females, especially with the YT ones. Oh, they
yeah. They're
really
like
insane. They
those
can
be
talk to me all
and
type of
those be the main
crazy.
ones. Those be the main ones wanting to hurt women, but then it's somehow.
Yes.
But then they're always trying to
Mm-hmm.
deflect and say it's straight men.
Yeah, no, it's them.
Right.
I'm like, y'all have like this deep rooted some type of secret, not secret. I'm gonna say it like that, but like this, like you envy us, but then hate us all at the
Vagina
same
envy.
time. It's
It's
really
vagina envy.
weird.
So
I've said it.
Yeah,
Vagina
so
envy.
I've asked
it is.
so I've
Mhm.
also asked I've also talked to a bunch of trans, women, and I'm like, so would you date a trans man? And their answer was no. Because
No,
and I'm
tell me
like,
why.
but wait,
Right.
if because they want to date a cis man, and I'm like, but why? Because it aren't trans men,
And let's get
and they
into that.
couldn't
I don't
answer.
even.
I'm like,
They pick
so
and
We're gonna
choose when
let
they
you
if
want.
trans
finish.
men
They
are
pick and
Hold on,
choose
let you finish. Go ahead.
when they want to have a
Hold
preference.
on.
It's preference for me, not for thee. That's what their game is. And when people
Right.
don't play that shit, they want to try victim. And when people are getting tired of their shit, like again, other countries aren't playing this bullshit. Somewhere, I think it
Correct.
was in Europe, and it's like
Uh-huh.
this Muslim
Uganda,
community. One of these
Yeah,
trans
Uganda
women
ain't
try to
playing
pull
with
this.
you.
They try to
Uganda,
pull
and
this Muslim woman's
Uganda
hijab
passed that
off.
law, baby.
They try to pull this Muslim woman's hijab off, and those Arab dudes whoop that ass. They whoop that
Yeah,
ass. And
yeah.
don't get me started on Uganda or Ethiopia, how they don't play this shit. And Sobe, you're from Jamaica, right?
Yup.
They've kind of relaxed on the laws, or are they still?
They've kind of relaxed on it. They've relaxed a lot. I'm gonna say that they've relaxed a lot. I mean, they have.
Mm.
Because at one point it was like hella. But I'm pretty sure like the Rastafarian
Oh, at one point,
communities.
I remember when that ship tried to port there. It was like I guess it was like a LGBTQ ship or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
they was at the port with machetes and stuff. No, you
Oh
can't stop
hell
there. They
no.
had to turn around. It was
That's
like
crazy.
in Jamaica, they was not playing with it at all.
Would you say that in the Rastafarian communities primarily that they still don't play that shit?
I would say, I mean, honestly, I think it's more like I'm gonna be honest with you. In Jamaica, it's kind of biased, which is kind of like in America. Like no one messes with like the lesbian, the L part of the LGBTQ. I think they just don't like the men part. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. That's
Yeah,
like
I
facts.
nobody,
mean,
and it's the same way in America. It's like no one cares about the girls. It's just the
I mean, nobody,
men. I don't
I mean,
know
the girls
why.
aren't bothered, but the
It
girls don't
is.
bother
It's like
nobody. The girls don't really bother
they
anybody, and
they
what if they
don't
do?
though.
They know who. Like we talk all this shit about. You hear all this shit about men harassing and assaulting women and all the other shit, but do you know that a couple of years ago in the WNBA there was a lot of assaults going on in the locker room that they swept under the rug and they tried to like silence it in news media outlets, and it's actually hard to find those articles of women who played in the WNBA that were saying that open lesbians were very aggressive with them in the locker rooms and just plain old
Wow.
inappropriate. So and this is not indicative of the entire LGBT of the entire community because
Yeah.
anybody
Mhm.
of sexuality can be a predator and can be aggressive. They just need some.
Yep.
They just we got to
See, I
stop that.
like how you did that. I like how you did that. That's how when arguments are being made, that's how it should be.
It
Thank you,
shouldn't
What?
be.
Callie, for the follow.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. This side does it more, or straight people do it more, or
Yep.
we know that somebody who would identify as heteronormative would do something fucking foul. We know that. We know that it's more likely to happen about that because these other ideologies have
Oh,
just recently
thank
surfaced.
you,
Thank
Alicia.
We
you,
know that they've
Alicia.
Thank you.
Thanks, honey.
We know that they've recently
Mm.
surfaced. It goes without saying they've recently surfaced. But my thing is with these new ideologies now surfacing and them saying that it's okay to do
Brother,
a
thank you
drag show in
too.
front of
She probably
children,
asleep.
a drag show in front of children. Let's be honest. If I
Yeah.
if I can't take my if something is wrong with me for taking my 6-year old son to a Hooters and having him looking at scantily clad women, shouldn't I keep? Am I allowed to keep the same energy with the drag show?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to keep the same energy with the drag show? Am I allowed
Yes,
to?
because it's
And yeah,
because it's both problematic. I mean, it's like I mean, I've seen, like, I've gone, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, if you go to South Beach and you walk Ocean, you're gonna walk past a place called like Palace or whatever, and the drag show is basically out in the open, and kids see it, and
Right.
they're dressed in like, I mean, it's jumping off tables, and I'm like, it's a lot, and people bring their kids there, and I'm just like, why? It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
I mean, but
And you know what? Like it goes without saying that going back to the whole parenting thing, some people should not be parents because they're openly. This is basically they're basically grooming their kids. Like you hear the stories of people who've been molested and all the other shit, and then it always starts with the person that molested them asking them inappropriate ass questions. So
well, I
now
mean,
and then again, these are the same things. These are the same people. I mean, you got to no, not the same people. You got people taking a flag, taking a banner, and essentially asking those same questions. Like, what was it? About a year ago, there was this woman on like the who lived in the Kentucky Tennessee border Appalachian Trail. She was trying to start like a summer camp called Sexy Sex Ed, and I have the receipts. She said of any ages, she was going to talk about kink and masturbation. So you're going to have a goddamn kindergartner talking. You're going to have that type of conversation with a kindergartner. That's exactly the shit that a fucking
well, that's
molester would
sick.
do.
But what you have to understand is that since the beginning of time, parents have been some parents have been grooming their kids. I mean, look at these child actors and these singers and these beauty pageants. John Benet
Yeah,
Ramsey, Britney
the
Spears.
the
What do you
Feldman
think? What
bro,
do you think?
the two Corys.
Yeah, what do you think that was? I
What
mean, it's
Drew
just like
Barrymore.
people.
Drew Barrymore. Why else
Exactly.
did Dylan Mulvaney went on her show and she kneeled in front of him and people were pissed off at her because like, wait a minute, you're giving into the patriarchy by letting this man tell you about womanhood. And it's like, wait a minute, we're talking about Drew Barrymore. Wasn't she getting, passed around when she was a preteen and was given drugs and all that other shit?
Was at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was
Mm-hmm.
getting drunk at 8 years old. Like what the fuck? Yeah.
Yep.
So I
So,
can't, so when you got the entertainment industry giving someone like Mulvaney a platform, and we're having these
mm-hmm.
conversations and we're having these productive conversations, no matter what side we come from, no matter what perspective we come from, we can all see that one space as being problematic. This
Mm-hmm.
industry,
Yep.
this society is being problematic, and
Yep.
Protesting or not supporting that shit, not giving into those media outlets is one way of doing it. Like shit, motherfuckers
Mhm.
is, people complain about this shit, but you know what? You either put up or shut up. You either stop watching or entertaining this shit. Hell, people either stop entertaining Genty because truth is, Genty feeds off of controversy. And you know what?
Yeah.
I let my dumb ass get riled up by him when he said the shit that he would say about, not dating a trans is transphobic. It's like, I should have left it at, you know what? You're only going to set somebody up to get killed and just leave it at that. And then just block them or
Right.
just say not interested.
Unalive.
Because the
Unalive.
people, huh?
Unalive.
Damn.
Stop
Sorry.
saying the K word. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Unalive. Like, and you know what? Those people, and it's like, for a small marginalized community, they make it seem as though people are just on some purge shit where they just put on a damn Trump mask and tactical gear and get in a damn pickup truck and just chase them down the street. Like it's giving me Jesse Smollett vibes when they
Well, what I want to
Oh
say
my
is
God. Listen,
what I want to say.
I
What I
was
want to
so
say to
sick
that
about
is
that when
like
he did that. Pissed
what
me
I want to
off.
say to that is they weaponize the fact that that's happened to people in their community as if like it's
Yeah.
happening all the time, and it's not. And
Right.
it's like it's just I don't understand that. Like I get it that it's the same thing. Like I don't. It's
they
just hard to explain. It's like
Sobi, let me say this. You may not like it. They weaponize that like it's happening every second without fail, and it's not. I think
hmm
even in our community, because let's be honest, they latched themselves onto the plights of black people. They've latched themselves onto the plights of black
Yeah,
people and dealing with law
yeah,
situations
off
with law
of
enforcement. And
quote
I'm going to
unquote
say
black
this,
trauma. They profit off of black trauma.
Yep.
They
and you know
profit off
what?
of quote unquote black.
We can all say we can't make it seem as though
We gave him the blueprint.
we gave them the blueprint, and the problem with our
Yeah.
blueprint is, and this is my opinion coming from a law enforcement background. Not every cop, day in and day out, is waking up trying to kill a black person or looking for an excuse to kill a black person
But
and try and
nobody's
get paid
saying that either.
vacation and all other shit.
But nobody's who's
No
saying
one's
that?
saying that,
Who's
but
saying
no,
that?
we're not saying that. We're not saying that, but they portray. But we've had too many people. We've had too many people make money off of it, painting the narrative that that's what's happening, and then now you got these people. They've latched onto it, and now they can paint the narrative that
But
everybody's
no,
this type of bigot or
and
phobe that
that's the
doesn't want to
mistake.
bang them. Yeah.
I think the masses are hearing that, and the masses are probably projecting that. But that's not really what the message was, and I think a lot of people are missing that point. A lot of cops aren't trained properly to deal with a lot of situations that
A
end
lot
up
of cops
causing
can't
the
fight.
death of a lot of people. And a lot of cops are the ones that were bullied, like Genty in high school, that are now cops and have power and abuse it.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
just the
Not only
facts.
that, like a lot of law enforcement, like when I've worked with some guys in SWAT teams that have trained SWAT, they've said that they've asked people in the police academies how many of them have been in a fight before, and less than 10 of them in an academy can safely say they've been in a fight. So, I mean, I've been doing martial arts since I was a kid. I've been in some scraps. I've trained with professionals and all other shit. I've gone into like my guard unit and I've ran into cops, actual city and civilian cops. When they figure out that you have some level of skill set, they're more so nervous about you now, and they give you the side eye because you're in some ways your level of training, and if you really wanted to do some damage to them, you could.
Well,
Like,
here's my thing. For one, cops, honestly, cops, you're there. You're a cop for a reason, right? And it's not for you. It doesn't give you power over people. And so when you think that you have power and can command people to do things, when you don't, that's the problem. You're supposed to be following these rules, but you don't follow them because you're breaking them every time. When you stop somebody for no reason, you make up lies, and a lot of police officers do that. They do that. They abuse
well,
their power.
here's the
They
problem with the
abuse
stop
their power.
somebody for a reason. Here's the problem, and this has been one of my biggest things about law enforcement. My biggest beefs with it.
Hmm.
They don't like to use the word quota. They will never tell you
They do.
if assuming that you guys don't have cop friends, they will never tell you that their agency has a quota. What they will tell you
All
is
my cop friends have told me that.
they
I was
don't
about
like to
to
use
say
the,
that.
they're not
Yeah, I was gonna
supposed to
say
use the
they'll tell
word.
me that.
They're not supposed to use the word
Yeah.
quota. They're not supposed to use the word quota
Right.
because there's been documentaries about it now, like what was it, the New York 12? Basically, they have to write a certain amount of tickets each month for tax
Mm.
purposes, whether it's a speeding ticket, whether it's jaywalking, whether it's loitering, especially in places like New York. Basically, it's that whole
Yep.
broken windows policy shit. Basically, it's that whole stop and frisk shit that Giuliani enforced and all that at one point. So it's a quota, but they don't. But the ones who are like loyal to the department and the agency will not say that it's a quota. I've seen it in Virginia.
And you don't think that's fucked up?
I do think it's fucked up. That's what I'm saying.
So then the
My biggest beef
system's
with
broken.
my big no system is ever perfect, is what I'm saying. We can only try to make it better, and I'm all
Well, I
for
mean,
trying
it's
to
not
make things
broken. It's
better.
doing exactly what it was designed to
But it
do.
has to be a certain way. But it has to be a certain way of making it better. Otherwise, you're just gonna have more and more bloodshed. And if you're gonna do the whole bloodshed thing, then go for it. My thing is law enforcement. Law enforcement more so these days is about responding and it's more so about responding when you're not necessarily trying to collect taxes. It's about responding and like de-escalating situations and going on about the day without collecting taxes and for them for the most part without trying to go throughout the day without doing any paperwork.
But that's my thing. My thing, right? If for the most part, I've seen cops that are decent people, and I've seen the ones that aren't, the ones that de-escalate stuff. But I've seen cops that have anger issues. and they really should not be on the force because they don't de-escalate anything. In fact, they make it worse than it was when they got there.
Sometimes it's not even just they have anger issues. It's just and I look, I'm not defending it. It's a bad day. Maybe the guy, maybe he's missed his kid's birthday. Maybe the wife is cheating on him and talking about leaving him, even though he's the breadwinner and all that other stuff. Everybody has their
And
struggle,
you
and
need
the
to learn
thing
to
is,
leave
the
that shit
cop
at, you need to
and truth
leave
is, the
that shit
cop
at the
is really
door.
the, huh?
They need to learn how to compartmentalize and leave that shit in the cruiser or at the door or something. Like a lot of other people have bad. Like I mean, we're
I
humans
mean,
and
they
everybody has
do,
their
and
days.
I
But
agree, they do. I do. I mean, they do need to learn how to compartmentalize that shit and leave it at the door. But the same could be said for the civilian who's going through the same thing, and let's say for all intents and purposes, he's looking for somebody to take the anger out on. And some people are crazy enough to let the cop be that outlet. So it's really just the it's a civilization where we're still using the laws of the jungle, but rationalizing that shit. Like maybe
yeah, I guess.
that gorilla's in a foul mood and it's mating season. And he sees another male gorilla trying to do a mating dance, and he's just, this is an excuse to fuck someone up.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say. I'm always gonna be biased because you know what I'm saying. With my run-ins with the cops that I've had, like the mistreatment of putting me in cuffs, but not my white friend. I mean, and it's like, and I was following.
Oh,
I
of
sat.
course.
I was following the rules, and they still put me in cuffs, but not my white friend. I was just like, I had to call. I had to basically show them who I was, and get badged and threatened like I need all your badge numbers and cards, and got the sergeants that was on site,
Mhm.
everything, because I was gonna sue the fuck out of them
Oh,
for
Oh, they
them to
would have
let
they
me up.
you would have gotten paid like a fat rat. So crazy story I
It's just
learned when I was a
crazy.
criminal. Crazy story I learned in college because I have a degree in Homeland Security. This guy basically, because places like Norfolk, Virginia have like the whole broken windows. They use broken windows type of tactics, and I've even seen him do it when I was on a police ride along. One guy successfully sued the department at least 3 times for $10,000, all within the span of about 5 years. And when they got wind of how he basically understood the laws better than the police officers, he had to skip town because the police were looking to fuck him up.
Well, a lot of them don't. A lot of police officers really don't know the law.
No, yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
mean,
Like
it's
they'll like you'll get hemmed up. You're fat. You're right. I've seen them hem somebody up and then actually look for the proper law to charge them with, give them a summons, and then let them go.
yep.
Now, now you said that you've been harassed by police. Would you? I've seen documentaries, and we hear things about
Well, I
like
wouldn't say
what
like
goes
the
on
thing
in
is,
Jamaica.
I wasn't harassed. I mean, what I'm saying is like an altercation happened, and I handled the situation, and I was leaving, and instead of like when they stopped me, I didn't. When they came to me, I didn't run. I stood there, stop, and they were like, get down, and I got down, but they still put me in cuffs, even though I was complying. And I'm sitting there, but my friend, they didn't put in cuffs when we were both involved in the altercation with the other people. And I was just like, but why would you put me in cuffs? Like, as if I'm some kind of threat. It made no
Mm.
sense to me when I was
All right,
complying.
I got a question though. Would you say that the police corruption in America is worse than Jamaica, or Jamaica is worse than America?
Um, I would
Because
probably
there are some people
say
that say that it's Jamaica. I've heard stories that Jamaica is worse. Brazil is worse.
in Jamaica it's worse. You can't really, that's like comparing apples to oranges, I think, really though, because I think that there's not much of regulations in Jamaica as it is in America. So I think that's what the difference is because like there's in Jamaica, like, probably the whole government, the whole thing. Well, I mean, here the whole government's corrupt too. I mean, but I don't know. I think it's different though. You can't compare. You
They
don't
got to
have,
be a little
I don't
more.
know.
They got to be a little more subtle. They got to be a little more subtle and presentable with their corruption versus Jamaica. It's
Yeah.
like out there in the
Yeah.
open. Like
Yeah. Pretty much.
a lot of.
Oh no, because this happened to me in Jamaica, and I had to like with my brother. They didn't touch me because I mean, I basically told them, I was like, you touch me, you're gonna have the U.S. government down here because I was still in the Marines at the time. So I was like, you touch me, you're gonna have to deal with the U.S. So that's that. And so they tried to get my brother, and he had to pay a fine. And so then I called my uncle, who was a big top police officer in Kingston, and he got that cop fired, and he gave him the money back. So there's that.
Gave him the money. So the police officer was extorting from your relative.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I'm getting at. Like, you saying it's apples and oranges. That's your view.
But I mean, think about it.
I would
I'm gonna
rather
say
deal
this
with
though.
I would rather deal with the. I would rather deal with the damn. I would rather take my chances with the cop that might be an Aryan Brotherhood affiliate in the States versus the shit that I hear in other countries with law enforcement where, hey,
No, and guess what I'm gonna tell
break
you.
me off a little bit now.
And I'm gonna tell you, this. You're wrong because the cop in Prince George's County, Maryland, that arrested this young woman and basically made her have sex with him. That's the same thing as taking money in Jamaica. So it happens here too. The extortion does happen here.
Okay, so I've worked with people from PG County in my guard unit. I know some guys that are cops in PG County. It was suggested that I go to PG County because you make a lot in overtime. Granted,
they're the most corrupt, and they're the most corrupt cops in this area.
I mean, PG County. They told me PG County is wild, and and I'm kind of glad I didn't actually go into law enforcement. I scored too high on on one of the police exams, and they say that when you score when you have a certain score, now they really give you the side eye because
because you're gonna have logic. That's the point. They can't control you when you have that logic. That's the point. I'm serious. Like, I mean, when they recruited me out of the Marines, and I said nope. I said nobody would get a ticket for me. So no thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm like, to me that's been one of my biggest things. Like, I gotta write a fucking ticket when.
That was my thing. I was like, I'm not doing the ticket thing. I was like, I would let everybody. I mean, because that's the truth. I'm telling you, I'd give everybody warning. I'm not kidding you. Because I know what it feels like. It's like nobody wants to deal with this shit. Sometimes, you make mistakes of speeding. So
Yeah, you gotta. Some people got heavy feet. And then the cops be the biggest speeders. Like, this, it's just.
duh. And then riding your tail so you could speed, and then they pull you over. Like, what are you doing, bro? They've done that to me so many times. I'm like, yo, I see you right behind me, so let me change lanes. And then they follow you. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, I mean, I just think the whole policing thing is I mean, I get it. But it's like, do they even solve crime anymore? I mean, do they stop crime? No.
Depends on the incentive. Depends on the end goal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at the opioid crisis. Look at the opioid crisis. Who's most likely doing that type of shit? Like, again, different cops, different areas. Like, I've even talked to some of the backwood redneck cops, and I've had conversations with them. I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I've noticed about the difference between white and black people? You never hear about black people using crystal meth as much as you hear about white people. If you Google
Right.
before and after pictures of meth users, it's mostly white people. And the dude
Yeah,
told me straight up.
It's 98.9% white people.
No, this guy told me straight up. Court. No, this is his accent. You're right. Of course, it's a stupid white person's drug. We're the only ones that'll take cleaning products and cook it up and use it and then smoke them. It's a stupid white person's drug. Most of the time, black people just stick to weed for the most part. Maybe coke, but weed.
It's mainly weed, though.
Meth is a stupid white person's drug.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I've known guys that are used to cook meth. Also, they're like, yeah, most of the meth users are white. And then in some parts of Tampa, like the more rural parts, like Tanoda, Sass, or whatever, it's a lot of meth users.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to clean up South Beach, but I'm like, yeah, all that cocaine down there, y'all can't clean that up.
they're I don't think they're trying. They're it's another fool's errand. Like they've been trying to. Wasn't there a war on drugs? What does that produce? My thing is, if you trying to prohibit drug use, war on drugs, the alcohol
Yeah,
prohibition, what has that really created? When you outlaw
it creates
something,
people.
you're gonna find people
It
that are
creates
gonna
a
find backdoors
yeah,
to do it.
yeah, and half the time they're being backed by government officials and police officers. I mean, it's time and time again. It proves to you like these people are the systems are involved in all of it. Like, how do people not recognize that the whole government everywhere is corrupt? Everywhere, every every country has corrupt government to some degree. Like, and that's the thing. People fail to acknowledge that because they think, oh, well, my life is going great and this is that. But you're not missing the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture and it's corrupted somewhere, somehow. Whew. Corruption at its finest. Oh, are you there, royalty? Well, good night, y'all.